Tomorrow. Such a harmless little word. It sounds safe. Like nothing can go wrong if you wait one more day. So you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week quietly becomes next month. And somehow, nothing actually changes. You don't feel lazy. You know exactly what you should be doing. You even imagine yourself doing it. But somehow, your body chooses something easier. Just one more video. Just 5 more minutes. Just one last scroll. Then suddenly, it's already midnight. You promise yourself again, tomorrow will be different. And for a moment, you actually believe it. Because believing is easy. Starting. That's the hard part. And this cycle repeats so many times. You almost stop noticing it. I used to think motivation was the problem. Like one morning I'd wake up and suddenly feel ready. But that morning never came. Every day started the same way. A plan. A little excitement. Then one tiny distraction. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt earned. I'll relax for a minute. 1 minute became 10. 10 became an hour. Then I looked at the clock. And somehow, the day was already gone. Again. The strange part is, I wasn't wasting time on purpose. I honestly believed I still had plenty of it. That's the trick. Time never looks expensive until you've already spent it. And every night, I made the exact same promise. Tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll finally start. Tomorrow I'll become productive. Tomorrow I'll fix everything. Tomorrow was always a perfect day. Because it never had to exist. You know what's funny? We treat tomorrow like a real place. Like there's a version of us waiting there. More focused. More disciplined. More motivated. But that person doesn't exist. It's still you. Just 1 day older. The problem was never Monday. Or next month. Or New Year's Day. The problem followed me everywhere. Because I packed it with me. I kept waiting. To feel ready. But readiness never knocked on my door. Nothing magical happened overnight. No lightning. No sudden burst of motivation. Just another morning. Another alarm. Another choice. And that's when I realized something. Maybe I wasn't waiting for tomorrow. Maybe I was waiting for permission. Permission to begin before everything felt perfect. Most people think they're fighting laziness. I thought the same. But laziness wasn't sitting on my shoulder. Comfort was. Comfort whispers. It never shouts. Just stay here. Nothing bad will happen. And that's the scary part. Most bad decisions don't feel bad at all. They feel comfortable. Scrolling feels comfortable. Staying in bed feels comfortable. Watching someone else build their dream feels comfortable too. Until one day, you look around and realize everyone kept moving, while you stayed exactly where you were. Not because you couldn't move, because comfort quietly convinced you. There was no rush. And I believed it. For far longer than I'd like to admit. The hardest prison is the one that feels like home. I remember the exact moment something felt off. Nothing terrible happened. No disaster. No big failure. Just another ordinary afternoon. I looked at my notebook. The first page was still blank. Not because I had no ideas. Because I kept waiting for the perfect one. Then it hit me. Perfection wasn't helping me. It was stopping me. Every time I wanted to begin, I made the starting line a little farther away. I need more time. I need a better plan. I'll do it when I'm ready. It all sounded responsible. But deep down, they were just better excuses. So I asked myself one simple question. What if the first attempt is supposed to look bad? What if messy is normal? That thought changed everything. Because suddenly, I didn't have to build something amazing. I just had to begin. One sentence. One push-up. One page. One phone call. One tiny step. It looked too small to matter. But tiny things have a strange habit. They grow. A single page becomes a chapter. A chapter becomes a book. One workout becomes a routine. One decision becomes a habit. And habits quietly become your life. The funny part is, nothing feels different at first. You don't wake up transformed. You don't suddenly become confident. Most days, it feels like nothing is happening. That's where people quit. Because progress is almost invisible. While it's happening, think about planting a seed. You don't dig it up every morning to check if it's growing. You water it. You wait. You trust the process. Your life works the same way. Every small action is another drop of water. Miss one day? That's okay. Miss a week, and the soil starts drying out. I stopped chasing motivation. Instead, I chased momentum. Momentum doesn't ask how you feel. It only asks, what's the next step? Not the biggest step. Not the smartest step. Just the next one. That's when everything became lighter. I wasn't trying to change my entire life anymore. I was only trying to win. The next 5 minutes. 5 minutes is hard to argue with. Anyone can write. For 5 minutes. Read. For 5 minutes. Exercise. For 5 minutes. Once you begin, something interesting happens. Stopping becomes harder than continuing. The hardest part was never the work. It was starting the work. Every single time. And once I understood that, I stopped waiting for tomorrow. I started protecting today. Because today is the only day that has ever changed anything. One day, I stopped asking myself, do I feel motivated? Instead, I asked a different question. What kind of person do I want to become? That changed everything. Because goals have finish lines. Identity doesn't. You can lose motivation. You can miss a day. You can fail. But if you believe, I am someone who always gets back up, failure becomes temporary. That's the difference. I wasn't trying to finish one project anymore. I was becoming someone who finishes projects. Small change. Completely different outcome. The first week felt awkward. The second week felt slightly easier. By the third, I stopped negotiating with myself. The decision was already made. Wake up. Start. Repeat. Not because I felt amazing. Because that's simply what I do. That's when confidence finally appeared. Not before the work. After it. Confidence isn't something you collect. It's something you earn. Every promise you keep to yourself adds another brick. Every excuse removes one. Eventually, you build a reputation. Not with other people. With yourself. And trust me, that's the only reputation that really matters. Because when life gets difficult, you don't rely on motivation. You rely on proof. Proof that you've shown up before. Proof that you've survived hard days. Proof that you've kept moving. Even when nobody was watching. Nobody applauds the quiet days. The mornings when you work instead of scrolling. The evenings when you keep going instead of quitting. Those moments look ordinary, but they quietly build extraordinary lives. The world celebrates results. Life rewards repetition. That's why consistency always looks boring. Until years pass. Then suddenly, people call it talent. They say, you're lucky. You've always been disciplined. You make it look easy. They never saw the hundreds of tiny choices. The alarms you didn't ignore. The pages nobody read. The workouts nobody noticed. The nights you almost quit. But didn't. Success rarely arrives with fireworks. Most of the time, it walks in quietly. Almost unnoticed. Then one day, you look back. And the person staring back at you doesn't feel like a stranger anymore. It's you. The version you kept promising yourself would exist someday. Except, it didn't appear overnight. It was built, one ordinary day at a time. And here's the part nobody likes to hear. There is no perfect moment. No perfect mood. No perfect plan. Life keeps moving. Whether you move or not. The clock doesn't care how many excuses you have. It keeps ticking anyway. One day, those tomorrows start running out. Not because you're old. Because time never promised it would wait. That's why today matters. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Not next month. Today. Even if today's effort feels tiny. Tiny is enough. Write one sentence. Read one page. Take one walk. Send one message. Open the notebook. Turn off the phone. Begin. That's it. You don't need to conquer the mountain. You only need to take the next step. Mountains are climbed one step at a time. Books are written one page at a time. Strong people aren't built in one incredible day. They're built on hundreds of ordinary ones. Most of them look completely forgettable. But together, they change everything. Imagine meeting yourself 5 years from now. One version smiles. Not because life was easy. Because they kept showing up. The other version knows exactly what could have happened. They remember every idea that never left the notebook. Every opportunity that disappeared while waiting. Every dream that slowly became a regret. The distance between those two people isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. It's thousands of tiny choices that nobody else ever saw. And here's the beautiful part. Your future isn't asking you to change your whole life today. It's only asking for the next small step. Nothing more. Because the next step becomes another, and another, until one morning, you wake up, you look around, and the life you kept imagining is no longer imagination. It's your reality. Not because you were special, not because you were fearless, but because you finally stopped waiting. So if you're still here, don't close this video thinking, that was interesting. Close it. Because you're about to start. One page. 1 minute. One decision. Right now. Because tomorrow has never changed anyone's life. Today always has.